A Quiet Place 2018 movie recap script. Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be exploring the 2018 horror and science fiction movie A Quiet Place, in which a family must survive by living in silence in a post-apocalyptic world invaded by blind monsters with hypersensitive hearing. Remember to take a seat, unwind and have fun. Day 89 is when the film opens. The film opens with a scene of a deserted ghost town. A family walks barefoot through an empty grocery store entrance. Evelyn Abbott is a mother who silently scans the pharmacy section, taking her time going through a stack of medications before giving them back to her son Marcus Abbott. While their mother, Evelyn Abbott, indicates that he is all right, his older sister, Regan Abbott, observes them over the counter. Regan Abbott approaches Bo Abbott, her younger brother, who is sketching a rocket on the ground. After giving Regan Abbott the go-ahead, Bo Abbott climbs onto the largely empty shelves and searches for a space shuttle toy. Regan Abbott rushes to grab the toy before it falls to the ground when it falls off the shelf. Lee Abbott, the family's father, has been collecting parts for a radio that will boost the signal and some playback equipment for Regan Abbott in the meanwhile. A family is getting ready to go when Evelyn Abbott indicates that night is approaching. A horrified expression appears on their faces. Lee Abbott carefully takes the electronic space shuttle toy from Bo Abbott and takes out the 2 batteries. Bo Abbott is holding the toy in his palm. "It's too noisy," Lee Abbott tells his younger kid. Regan Abbott returns the toy to Bo Abbott as the family departs, and on his way out, Bo takes the batteries. Silently, the family makes their way home down the sand trail they made. They immediately hear the space shuttle toy's electric sound as they approach a pedestrian bridge. With horror, Lee Abbott returns to his kid. He arrives too late, though. A beast erupts prior to seizing the young kid. Day 472. Today marks the 1-year anniversary of the disaster. In the farmhouse's basement, Lee Abbott is assembling a sophisticated security system that includes cameras, monitors, radio, and other devices in order to communicate with other survivors. Numerous newspaper clippings about an alien invasion can also be found. When Lee Abbott crosses another item off his list, he tries to get in touch with him again and again. Evelyn Abbott is in the basement getting ready for her baby's arrival by setting up an oxygen tank that is linked to a kid's breathing mask. As night falls, it's next to a soundproofed covered baby group. A flame wafts across the mountains, and Lee Abbott lights a small metal drum while more flames crackle in the distance. Regan Abbott grudgingly agrees when Evelyn Abbott begs her to inform the father that dinner is ready. They eat in silence on pieces of lettuce after praying silently. Later, while playing Monopoly with Marcus Abbott, Regan Abbott unintentionally knocks over a lamp, setting the carpet on fire. Although Lee Abbott swiftly puts it out, the family is scared and they are waiting to see what happens. All of a sudden, there's a huge crash coming from the roof, and something crunches. A raccoon that has fallen from the roof startles Lee Abbott as he glances out the window. The creature swiftly crushes the raccoon outside the home. To assist his daughter Regan Abbott, Lee Abbott goes to the basement to work on a hearing implant. Evelyn Abbott approaches and smiles. They slipped on some earbuds and took a slower stroll over to Neoi Yun's Harvest Moon. The farm provided a solid yet hard life. Lee Abbott tracked more sand in their wake the following day. Evelyn Abbott is taking her blood pressure down in the basement. It will be her due date in a few weeks. She listens for a strong, healthy heartbeat with her stethoscope on her stomach. Entering the farmhouse, Regan Abbott looks at his father's workspace in the basement, being cautious to tread only on the designated areas of the floor where a stream is visible. Lee Abbott, her father, walks up to her out of the blue and tells her that he tried to fix her implant by taking apart a radio, but she stops him, telling him that they never work. Disappointed, but not discouraged, Lee Abbott hands it to her. Marcus Abbott is attempted to learn math by Evelyn Abbott. Regan Abbott wants to go when Lee Abbott tells her he wants Marcus Abbott to accompany him today, but Lee Abbott insists she stay behind until her hearing is recovered. Running to her room, Regan Abbott tests out the new hearing aid. Regan Abbott was distraught when it failed. After slinking out of the house, Regan Abbott packs a bag with her cutting tools and a boxed object from her dresser. Marcus Abbott learns from his father Lee Abbott that it's acceptable to make minor noises beside a waterfall, as long as the louder noises are on the other side of the river. They don't have to worry about being heard when they speak to one another. Marcus Abbott tells his father that she believes her father despises her as well, and that she holds herself responsible for what transpired. Lee Abbott gives him a glance and replies, "Nobody's to blame." Marcus Abbott says he need to tell her someday if he still feels the same way. Regan Abbott arrives upon a footbridge with a haphazardly constructed tribute to Bo. After removing the item from a drawer, Regan Abbott discovers it is a space shuttle toy. She then cuts a wire with pliers so the toy can light up softly. Evelyn Abbott is at home, hauling a laundry bag up from the basement. Evelyn Abbott rips it free when it becomes trapped on the stairs, exposing the nail tip protruding from the steps. Lee Abbott and Marcus Abbott are taken aback when an elderly guy emerges from the jungle on their way home. They saw his wife's body lying next to them on the ground. The elderly man gives a primal scream in response to Lee Abbott's pleas for him to keep silent. Marcus Abbott is swiftly seized by a monster after Lee Abbott grabs him and flees. Evelyn Abbott is at home and has a leak. She dashes into the basement, where she steps on an exposed nail. Evelyn Abbott drops the picture frame she was clutching but is able to contain her scream. Repressing her sobs, Evelyn Abbott extracts her foot from the nail and staggers to a box in the room's corner. As a warning, red light bulbs are turned on. Then a deep growl from within the house catches Evelyn Abbott off guard as she stumbles across the room to get a mechanical kitchen timer. When Lee Abbott gets home, he is terrified to discover that the emergency beacon is on. Evelyn Abbott hears a terrifying combination of clicking and growling as the monster moves across the room, and she ducks into the corner. Evelyn Abbott continues to bite her thumb in agony while holding back her tears. The timer goes off and the monster opens its slimy ears to look for its meal. It leaps toward him right away, giving Evelyn Abbott time to bolt upstairs. Evelyn Abbott discovers another monster in her front yard, much to her distress. Marcus Abbott is informed by his father Lee Abbott that his mother is in danger and that he should raise his voice. After going upstairs to the bathroom, Evelyn Abbott gets into the tub and starts to bleed. Marcus Abbott notices some fireworks, so Lee Abbott reaches for his shotgun. Evelyn Abbott notices that the monsters are inches closer to her, unable to hold back any longer. Evelyn Abbott howls in pain as the fireworks light up the night sky and distract the aliens. Lee Abbott searches the house and goes into the bathroom, where he sees an empty bathtub covered in his wife's blood. Lee Abbott begins to cry because he believes Evelyn is dead, but is overjoyed when he learns that she is safe and hiding in the shower with a newborn baby. Lee Abbott carries them both into the soundproof bunker they have prepared and hides the baby in the crib. Marcus Abbott goes back to the house when he hears an alien. He dashes into a cornfield upon realizing the alien is close, only to collide head-on with a tractor wheel and lose consciousness. Upon arriving home, Regan Abbott notices Marcus Abbott's flashlight beam emanating from the cornfield. Regan Abbott is preoccupied and doesn't hear the monster behind her, but as soon as it approaches, her implants start to generate a strong feedback loop that frightens the creature and makes it flee. Unaware of what has transpired, Regan Abbott locates Marcus Abbott. Together they withdraw to the summit of a verdant silo where they await the arrival of their father. As Lee Abbott searches for the kids, Evelyn Abbott discovers that her plan has succeeded when she wakes up. However, they are unable to rejoice quite yet. Water seeps into the basement as Lee Abbott departs. Marcus Abbott says, "Don't worry, he'll come for us," at the top of the silo, but Regan Abbott shakes his head and says, "He'll come for you." When Lee Abbott notices them on camera, Marcus Abbott runs to give his sister a hug. When Evelyn Abbott awakens, the basement is flooded. The infant is fast asleep in the soundproof cup, but one of the monsters has gotten into the room through the open ceiling. The monster is still looking for Evelyn Abbott, so she gently wades through the water, takes up her baby, and sneaks to the back of the basement. Marcus Abbott falls into the silo while the two kids are debating over whether to wait for their father or go home themselves. The alien in the basement with Evelyn Abbott is captivated to the sounds as he slowly drowns in the grain. Marcus Abbott is just barely spared when the hatch totally collapses and falls into the silo. Marcus Abbott, Regan Abbott's brother, is successfully saved by her quick action. Sitting securely on the silo door are Marcus and Regan Abbott when they hear a mob. As the kids hide themselves with the hatch door, the alien from the flooded basement leaps into the silo. It looks like their fate is sealed, but then Regan Abbott's implant lets out another high-pitched scream, which makes the alien flee. Lee Abbott gets back together with his kids. However, there's another extraterrestrial in the area, advising the kids to hide in a truck right away. Marcus screams as the creature immediately attacks Lee Abbott. Regan Abbott's ears ring again as the alien lunges at the truck after hearing this. But all of a sudden, the sounds stop and the system breaks down. The alien hops on the truck right away and starts to rip it apart. With severe injuries, Lee Abbott looks at his daughter Regan Abbott and says, "I love you. Before I fired you for a year, I always liked you." When the pickup pulls back into the house, Lee Abbott is dead. They reunite with their mother. But they flee inside the home and head to the basement as soon as they hear the alien approaching. Regan Abbott, who was never permitted to be here, repaired her implant using her father's studies and the numerous hours he spent learning about anatomy and mechanics. Just as the lights start to touch Regan Abbott, she is overcome with movement. The creature merely retreats into the basement, trapping them inside. Swiftly scanning the room, Regan Abbott determines their weak point. Pulling out the new custom-made hearing aid, Regan Abbott flips it on, chooses a frequency, and as the alien trembles and stumbles over a nearby microphone, she pushes her aid against it once more, causing the creature to erupt into severe convulsions and collapse. The minute the monster stumbles to his feet, Mother Evelyn Abbott and daughter Regan Abbott exchange shocked looks. Evelyn Abbott blasts her head off with Lee Abbott's shotgun. They quickly observe that the shotgun blast has drawn in dozens more creatures from the security cameras. With an angry expression on her face, Evelyn Abbott was pumping the shotgun while her daughter Regan Abbott turned up the speakers. The two women exchanged a silent glance. That's the end of this recap. I appreciate you seeing. We hope this movie synopsis was enjoyable. Visit our channel to see more content similar to this one. See you on the next one, we hope.